I'm Tamara Hunt, and I developed the course History 348, Europe 1648 to 1815. And I'm going to give you some idea about what are some of the things I did in this class and in this workshop. This is the first time this course has been taught online. I have taught it before in person, but the last time I taught it was 2007. So it needed a lot of updating. And one of the things that I needed to keep in mind for this course was it needs to be appropriate for both majors and non-majors, because we have a lot of non-majors who take our upper division courses. One of my new approaches to this was actually something I learned from one of the group sessions that we had, and that was I realized I was thinking about this course in terms of constructing it how I thought it should be, as opposed to what would actually work best for the students. So I took a different approach to actually constructing this course. In terms of student engagement, one of the things I have the students doing, as you can see, the course is divided into units. And one of the things I have the students doing, by the way, each unit starts out with an assignments and goals for each day, which is another new thing I've done. In the orientation assignments, they are going to be playing a game, O Fortuna, all the way down here at the bottom. And that game is to get them thinking about what it's like to live in the 17th century. But then on the next day, they're going to read some primary source documents about life in the 17th century. And their assignment for the day is to go back and think about the choices they made in O Fortuna. And having now read the documents, would they change the choices, or do they think their choices were justified by what they read in the documents? So the documents go along with some of the choices in O Fortuna. So that's one of the things I did for student engagement. I've also started to use YouTube videos to spark student interest. And let me show you an example of that. Okay. Larissa, I know, thinks that I have a good voice and that I'd be interesting to listen to, but I think the students must get tired of that. So one of the things I did was I looked for some little videos that would spark their interest. And this is from the Khan Academy, and they have this whole series of 42 world history videos, which are about 10 minutes each. And they're very fast-paced. They've got humor in them. They've got a lot of pictures in them, but for each one that I use, and I only use, I think, this one for this class, the point is that it covers a lot of the major points that I would want them to know, but it does it in an engaging way. I also have some YouTube videos intended to spark their interest by asking them to think about issues in the past that have relevance today. So, for example, in Unit 2, which is a unit about colonialism and how that impacted Europe, well, one of the things that they watch, other than my lectures here, is a two minute and couple second video from USA Today, which interviews people saying what they think freedom is. And it's very interesting because at the beginning of the video, people are saying freedom is the ability to do what I want. But then as the video goes on, and remember, this is only 2 minutes, these people start to qualify what freedom is. Well, it's freedom to do what I want so long as it doesn't impinge on other people. So they start to qualify it. So the point is that these people have to think about what freedom means, and it has these different parameters to it. So then what they're doing on this particular day is they're reading primary source documents that deal with freedom and free and unfree in the 17th and 18th centuries. There are all kind of people who are not free. They might not have considered themselves that, but indentured servants and servants, period. Because servants could be imprisoned for leaving their jobs before their contract was up. And of course we have slaves and we have serfs, and so then they have to write a reflective piece about what does freedom mean, and how do we understand the troubles with defining freedom in the 17th century and today. The students also do class discussions on VoiceThread. In some cases, these are reflections, and that's what this one will lead to, is a reflection about that. In other cases, I want them to look at particular documents and tell me what they can determine about the past from those documents. I use a variety of genres, such of documents such as ballads, wills, folk tales, a whole variety of things, handbills, all kinds of different things, so that they aren't just reading a document by Voltaire, which actually they do, but not all of them. And then a final thing that I've done for student engagement is, let's see, maybe I don't have one in this unit. What I have done, and I didn't mark it down here where I do it. Oh, I know, yes. There's one on Unit 1. Okay, one of the things that I've done is with some of the lectures where I give them a broad overview of what's going on at that time, I then give them the option of which article they read. So they can pursue this subject in greater depth by looking at a topic or a country or something that interests them more than others. So in most cases where they're reading scholarly articles, they get to choose which article. There are some instances where they have to read a specific article, but all of these will do the job. Okay, so that's some of my student engagement. Best things about the course design, I think, are the variety of activities to keep the course fresh and interesting. I have moved away from the idea of the model of lecture a day. They don't need a lecture a day. I can get them to learn in other ways. So they can learn from me and from each other and from the materials that I've got posted up here. A second thing I like about this course design is that the students are specifically being asked to consider issues from the past that have relevance today. So for those people who think history is a hobby or history is bunk, no, history teaches us to think about what the human condition is. And that's one of the goals of my department. And then finally, another thing that I really like is in the past I've aligned assignments with course goals, but this was the first time that I aligned daily assignments with course goals. And I thought that was great. The course mapping was terrific. It really, really helped me think about what it was I was doing in the class and why I was doing it on a daily basis. What could be implemented into other classes? Well, the student-centered course design. I'm going to be doing this with all my other classes. And when I say student-centered, that means that it's geared towards engaging them in the subject in ways that they will find stimulating. They don't look at history the same way I do. And I need to recognize that. I can't force them to look at history as a professional historian. So therefore, I've got to find ways to engage them and hopefully even make it fun and enjoyable. And to do this, I'm using the games and alternative teaching methods in order to try and get them to learn. And this is not a lightweight course because I actually am going to be all over them in terms of improving their content knowledge and their skills. But I'm trying to do it in such a way that they will feel comfortable with the class and that they will be able to see their own progress. What are some of the things to keep in mind while developing an online course? Well, one of the things is giving them good instructions. Okay, my orientation assignments are the kinds of things I'm talking about here. I've got 2 off-site links about plagiarism. One is a 3-minute and some second video about what plagiarism is. This one's a tutorial. So you go through and you make choices, and it tells you if you made the right choice. Then I created a navigating Blackboard and working with VoiceThread, because even though I do summarize some of that in my introductory video, because I do have an introductory YouTube video, I wanted to make sure that they had the instructions on how to manipulate Blackboard and how to post comments on VoiceThread. So that's first thing. Second thing, a manageable workload for students and instructors. Because this is a summer class, in the past, I've given them assignments every single day, in which they had to write something every single day. That's unrealistic for them. It's unrealistic for me. So I am more wedded to the idea of less can be more, by allowing them enough time to think about what they're doing, enough time to read it with care instead of hurrying through it because they have an assignment due, I think I can get them to be much more in tune with what was going on in the 17th and 18th centuries. And finally, give them multiple opportunities to explore the material and do it in different ways. Ask them for reflection, ask them for analysis, ask them to tell you what they know or what they think so that they can explore the material in these different ways to get feedback from me to help their skills and knowledge grow. What do I count as success as an online instructor? Number one, they stay in the class and finish it. That's number one. But then some of the other criteria are, and I've had all of these happen, that a student tells me they'd be willing to take another online class. Because I've had students tell me that they had such a bad experience with an online class from another university, not from here, but from another university, that they never wanted to take an online class, and then they took one from me and they said, oh my God, yeah, okay, I'll take another one. It's a success if students tell me they'd be interested in taking another history class. To me, a failure in a class is that the students end up hating history. I don't care what else they learn. I want them to come out of it with some appreciation for and even an interest in history. Maybe they're not going to be as passionate about it as I am, but I don't want to have them come out of class and say, God, I hate history. No. I want you to like history and be interested in it. Another thing is students tell me they learned a lot from the class. For some reason, that one surprises me when they tell me that, when you consider how much information I give them, but they do. And then this is the final one that's really kind of funny because the students don't realize what they're saying. But when students tell me that they were surprised that the course wasn't boring. I'm glad it wasn't boring. Thank you. It wasn't boring. So these are some of the things I learned from this online course workshop and working with Larissa. And I now know how to do all kinds of technical things that I didn't know how to do before. But I'd be happy to answer any questions if any of you have them.
Yeah. I have a quick question. So I just wonder, how do you collect the student feedback from your online courses? Just in general, what are the ways you get their feedback about the course?
I ask them.
On VoidThread or?
No, I do a survey.
Oh,
And they
cool.
can do the survey and tell me about it.
That's great.
Yeah, because if it's on VoiceThread, I'll know who said what.
Yeah.
And I want them to be able to say whatever they want.
Right.
So.
That's something I can use.
All right. Well, I think you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Any other